I know we've only known each other for 4 weeks and 3 days, but to me, it seems like 9 weeks and 5 days.
All right, everybody, here we are. It's Sunday, time for the Sunday edition of the Let's Get Growing show right here on the Urban Gardener channel. And I'm Enoch. I'm your host today. We've got a really great show for you here today. Definitely want to stay tuned as we have our good friends Khang Starr from the Khang Starr channel and the Pepper Lovers community, and our good friend Christopher Brandsdal joining us from, I don't know if he's in Norway or if he's somewhere around the world, but he'll be joining with us here in just a little bit later on in the show and we'll have a fun gardening discussion, gardening roundtable where we'll talk about gardening through challenges today. And everybody, thank you so much for joining with me here today. It's been a great day here. And right at the top of the show, before we get moving along any further, I am going to tell you and be honest with you up front. We do have our front segment that we have on the show today, the In the Garden segment on our Sunday edition. It is the fifth Sunday of the month. And when there's a fifth Sunday of the month, it is my responsibility to go out into the garden and film an In the Garden segment. We talked about this last week. I kind of joked about it because I had just realized, wait a minute, I've got to do that. But this was kind of a weekend where, again, we didn't have our show yesterday because of my granddaughter's birthday. So I didn't get around to filming that segment. I have to be honest with you right up front. So what we're going to end up doing for our In the Garden segment today is I'm going to play you either one of three features that I've filmed before. So it's going to be a replay, I'll be honest with you. But here's what I need you to do. I need all of you guys right now who are joining with me right now, and I'm not going to tell you which one's which. This is going to be a mystery, which one's which, but you choose. You guys get to choose A, B, or C. So I want this at the top of the show right now. I'll say this again here in just a minute. And before we get going with the In the Garden segment here in a few minutes, maybe we'll have Jay calculate how many of which one wins. And whatever one wins, then we'll play that one there. And it'll be, again, too, it's kind of a mystery, but I want you guys to pick the one for me. I'll reveal what they are after you guys choose A, B, or C. Something a little fun for today's show. Today's show is just a little bit different today. Like I said, we're on kind of a shortened Let's Get Growing weekend here on the show because of my granddaughter's birthday yesterday and taking the day off. So definitely having a little bit of fun today, as I'm probably not as prepared as I usually would be for the show, but good reasons for all of that. Definitely. So again, too, if you all are here with us at the top of the show, you know the drill. Let's click that like button, hit the thumbs up, as well as subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified of all of our upcoming videos and live streams. Share with all your friends, get the word out there. Again, too, this is something I really appreciate you guys doing, is making sure that you're sharing our show and sharing upcoming shows. That folks have been doing a lot of that lately too, which has been great. Letting everybody know and aware of our shows coming up. But anyways, definitely thank you for all of the sharing, liking, subscribing, commenting, all that sort of stuff. Those interactions with the channel really help us get seen by the YouTube algorithm. That way more people can see our show. So every time you comment, every time you click that like button, every time you're sharing, if you share through your YouTube that you have and make a post or share through your channel and all of that, that's a huge interaction with the channel. So I really do appreciate all of you who take that time to do that for us and for the show as well too. So again, thank you so much for doing that. And remember, we're here every Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. British Summer Time. again, except for yesterday, but we'll be back to every Saturday and Sunday coming up this next week as well, for sure. To thank you so much to all of you who are watching us on the replay. Big, huge shout out to you. Drop into the comments section below. Let me know you're here. Let me know what you got growing on. And, yeah, even if you want to just say hi, I love hearing from all of you. Again, comments are really, really awesome. They really, really do help the show. So thank you so much for taking that extra time just to say hi. I really, really do appreciate it. And if you are here with us live and you have any questions or comments, and definitely questions or comments for our guests coming up here, definitely put those into the chat there in bold capital letters so I can see all of your questions from your comments, and definitely bring the questions too. I love it when you guys are dropping the questions in for our guests. I love it when you help me interview our guests. Isn't that what I'm saying, basically? But this is your show too. That's what this is all about. This is a community show. This is about building a community through the gardening community and all of that. So this is your show as well too. So definitely drop in any questions you might have, and follow all the links down in the description below. All right, everybody. Like I said, we're having a fun show today so far. Running just a little bit late. I apologize for that. But again, like I said here too, we do have our In the Garden segment coming up here in just a minute. And like I said, it's going to be a mystery segment. I will reveal what they are and what you chose. But if you choose right now and you're just joining in, I've asked everybody here at the top of the show to just quickly just choose A, B, or C. Just quickly into the comment section there, A, B, or C. And that's it. And let's see, is anybody... I don't even see anybody yet. Do we got any? Oh, I'm not even up here yet. Let me make sure I'm here. Okay, there we go. I see some now. I got to make sure I'm there. Okay, yeah, come on, everybody. Give me some A, B, or C, because so far I think I only see one, and that's Serena. She says A. So far we've got an A. All right, everybody. Again, thank you so much for being here. Really, really appreciate all of you here. Let's see. Trying to go through the comments here, make sure I'm seeing all of everybody here. Okay. Right on. Oh, I see we got Jay changed settings there at Ecology Today, the channel name there. Awesome. Great to have you here, Jay. That's what I was wondering. I was like, I see you've changed your name there. Excellent. Again, too, thank you, Jay, for being here. Thanks for facilitating the show. Everybody keep an eye out in the comments there from Jay at Ecology Today. I love it. Excellent. Thank you. Right on. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us out in the chat. Let's see here. And what do we got here? Oh, David says, my name is Set the Bow Tie Life in the Garden, but YouTube currently has a glitch that is not using my name. Yeah, I see we've got the ats. So it's showing all of our at handles. I see. We got Adam here. Hello, everyone from Central Point, just right up the road from me, right here in the Rogue Valley in Southern Oregon here. Right on. Let's see here. Yep. Texas Organic TV. Yeah. That's what I think is happening here. If everybody's noticing, they see the change in their thing is that what we have are our handles here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Jay says, Layla, birthday photos or it didn't happen. Okay. Well, I didn't get too many together as far as actual all birthday photos. But I do have just a snapshot or two for you from yesterday's birthday party, because that's why we took the day off yesterday for their Saturday show was Layla's birthday. And so I just snapped a shot. This is a little post cake cleanup with her with Layla, and so yeah, just a couple of little snapshots there for you of me and my granddaughter for her birthday party yesterday. So lots and lots of fun. It was really great. It was so wonderful to get to hang out with family and do that for the birthday party. And it's still not over. We've made a whole weekend of it for her first birthday. And I've got a dinner party I'm hosting tonight too. So I got to get busy right after the show and get things going. So I'll have everything ready for the family and everything when they show up here tonight. So right on, everybody. So let's see here. What do we see? I've got I saw A. I've got a C, C, C. So we got two C's and A. I see a B and a oh, and it looks like Serena changed to B. So we got two B's and two C's. Urban Garden votes. What do we got here? A. Is that A12? Is it 12 A's? I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Okay, so that looks like, I don't know. I guess we're going to go with A as the winner. Okay. Ooh, I see. So throwing in some questions in there too. I'll highlight those questions here for just a little bit as well too, everybody. Thank you so much. Right on. Okay. Well, I guess from what I can see, A would be the winner, right? A being the winner. So again, like I said, this is just a little fun I thought I'd have with all of you guys right now, because we're going to do our In the Garden segment here, because I failed to get mine done this week. I had so much going on with family and the birthday party and all that sort of stuff, my little dinner party tonight and all of that, that I'm just going to have to play a real quick replay for all of you. So and the winner looks like it was A. So I'll tell you, I chose three different, or three, that's three, right? Three different segments that I did this past year, and fun little segments we did. And A was the Southern Oregon Bee Association, which looks like the winner today. B, I had Pollinator Project. The Pollinator Project visit we did here to Southern Oregon, or C, the plant tour. So it looks like we got A for our winner. So it looks like we're going to go and check out what's going on at the Southern Oregon Bee Association. I hope you all enjoy. I'll see you all right back here in just a few minutes, and we'll get our gardening roundtable going with our special guests today. So, all right, everybody, welcome to In the Garden, and just a little bit different of a segment for us this week as we're talking about beekeeping. I am out at my local Jackson County Extension, and this is where the Southern Oregon Bee Association keeps all of their beehives, and we're lucky to get to talk with Leslie Lundgren about all of this sort of fun stuff that they do here with the Southern Bee Keepers Association, and we'll talk about the association, and she's going to show us a little bit into those hives there. I'm really, really excited about this. I can't wait to dig in. All right, here we go.
Okay, that's good. On just about all of them, this would be like the main family home with a nursery in the middle.
Okay.
This would be their pantry where they're storing up their honey to last them over the winter. And then this is probably put on by a beekeeper to give them extra feed.
Now I'm at that point where like, oh man, I want my own hives. I want to do this, but I'm trying to learn as much as I can otherwise too before I even get into maybe even thinking about that sort of thing. But yeah, to me, it's kind of exciting.
Early on in my beekeeping journey, I just watched this guy. I don't even know his name, but he was just talking. There's only one reason to get into beekeeping. So I was just like, okay, what's he gonna, this great secret is if you find them fascinating. You already know that they have their own personality.
Right.
Colonies are the same way. They do too. So I'm checking to make sure our queen is not up here. She shouldn't be, but always check the lid. These are what I would consider rooms. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just on this 3rd story. Because it's shorter, I'm expecting that I'm only gonna see honey, but we might see some larvae in here too. Do you see in here where it's shiny, kind of liquid looking?
Yeah.
That's nectar that they're storing. You see over here, this part that's capped over?
Yeah.
That used to be nectar, and that's the capping that they put on the top. Kind of like when we preserve food. This looks like all honey up here on the top, which is kind of what we expect to find.
From that side, it looks really like
Yeah,
golden.
Well, this
in the
side,
light.
this is called a foundation. That's a template that we give the bees to build their comb, right? So beekeepers can give them foundation, right?
Yeah.
And they're storing up honey over here. So that's why it's capped off. So that's another way beekeepers can just give them just the frame. They give them like a base to build their own comb, and that's their own comb. I'm actually going to pull one more because I can see some larvae and not one of the capped brood. So this one, I don't know if you can see, but way down inside there are larvae. This right here is capped over. This is what we call capped brood. That means I'm basing by the color because it's a darker brown. These guys are probably 12 to 14 days old, and so they get capped over at day 9, and then they develop, and when they come out, they'll chew it out, and they'll come out as adult bees brood. You can kind of see all capped over, right? Those are all babies developing underneath there. Every brown cell. So here's just more babies. Oh, there she is.
Oh.
Holy cow.
All right.
Right there by my thumb. She just went underneath that.
I think I see her. Yep,
yeah.
There she is. Yep, she's crawling.
Now, do you see her?
Yep, right there.
Yeah. That's our mama.
There's our queen. She's heading over the other side.
Yeah, she's trying.
There she goes. I see.
Yeah. There she goes. She's gonna go right over. Yep. We're gonna put them back together. I'm so glad you got to see the queen. I don't know if I can describe to you just how rare that is during a club meeting. To
Really?
see her, yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. We got lucky here today.
Woohoo! There's our little smoker.
All right, everybody, we're here with Leslie Lundgren from the Southern Oregon Bee Association. We just got to check out the beehives here, and I'm telling you, for my first time, that was just really, really awesome, really fascinating to see them in work. I'm so glad that you actually showed us this, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And so tell us just a little bit more about the Southern Oregon Bee Association and what you guys do.
So we're an association, number one, to support and educate beekeepers. There's a huge learning curve, and I always tell people, invest in your education for your first year before you get your bees.
Yeah.
Because if you get your education after you get your bees, you're going to be trying to play catch up, and it's stressful to do it that way.
Exactly.
So,
and there's just so much to know. I mean, literally, you were showing me some things, and we were, talking about how they work and all of that, and it's just really fascinating me. Just really kind of how complex it really is.
It really is.
It's really amazing to see them all doing their work and everything like that. But seeing that complexity, I can definitely tell that there's definitely a learning curve that we have to undergo in order to become beekeepers ourselves.
Absolutely. That's why I appreciate the club. Before we even got bees, we started attending club meetings. So they happen every month except in December. And usually there's a topic every month, especially for beekeepers, because it's a seasonal thing. So you do different things at different times of the year.
Yeah.
So the most important thing I feel like is getting out there and checking the hives, just like what we did today. Yeah. That happens at the beginning of the meeting for about 45 minutes.
Yeah. So as you're kind of gathering, you're all just kind of checking out how the bees are doing.
We're putting on our bee suits, making the trek out there to the hives. Yeah. And so that's what happens, just like what we did today.
Yeah.
So somebody will open up the hive and pull frames out, point out things that you see. So even experienced beekeepers will go to the hive checks just to see what's going on, because every colony is different.
So the bee association, is that you mentioned there are some really experienced beekeepers, but is this something for really new beekeepers like myself?
Yes.
Like, this would be a great way for me to get introduced and learn a little bit more about becoming a beekeeper?
Yep. In fact, in the spring and in the fall, we have bee school. It's an all-day Saturday thing.
Okay.
And so what I love about bee school is that some people attend the bee school not knowing anything about bees, and then they realize, oh wow, I need to spend more time learning. And so instead of ordering their bees right away, they'll maybe wait a year or two to get their bees. And then other people, and then they come to bee school and they're like, oh man, I need to hook up with a mentor, or I need to attend more stuff.
I'm probably gonna have to come out here for your next bee club meeting.
Absolutely.
And all of that as well too, because again, this is just so fascinating. I love what's going on here, and getting the chance to check out those bees was just really amazing. One other thing too, I was noticing as I was looking at the website and all of that, you guys do bee rescues as well?
Yeah. So there's swarms, which we talked about out there as part of the beehive biology. So in the springtime is when they're going to be doing that. So, a swarm of bees will land in the neighbor's tree. And so we have on the website a way for people to just click, enter all the information, and then that goes out into a mass email for the swarm team. Whoever answers first will come and rescue the bees for free, because that's a community service that we provide, is catching swarms. But if they happen to make a home in your roof, or in your shed or in your barbecue, then that's a whole different set of skills. But there's a team that goes out and captures the bees that way too.
That's great. And are some of these bees out here actually rescue bees as well?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, one of the boxes said, I think Southern Oregon Swarms on the side. So either the box came from her or else the bees came from her.
Excellent. All right. And is there anything else you think that we should know about the Southern Oregon Bee Association?
It's free to attend the meetings. That's really what I wanted to say earlier. A lot of people think you can't attend the meetings unless you're a member, and that's not true. What you get with membership is you get to borrow the honey extraction equipment, you get to be part of the swarm team, and you also get to vote on business. But as far as the education part, the education is completely free. And our club is really good as far as we have a nice mix of brand new people, some experience, even a few commercial beekeepers, and most everybody who's experienced is really open to just kind of come under my wing. Come under my wing, come to my very first year. The vice president at the time she invited me to come to her house to check out her bees. before I even got my bees, I saw hers first.
So that's just an incredible resource to
Absolutely.
anybody who wants to become a beekeeper. I think that's just really amazing.
Yeah.
And so for everybody else out there, I'm sure that there's got to be a bee association around you somewhere. So if you're thinking about getting into beekeeping and having your own bees, it's probably a really great place to start.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Excellent. Thank you again,
Yeah,
Leslie,
you're
for so
welcome.
much for taking us along this really great experience here to check out these bees.
Great
Again,
day for it.
my first time around some beehives, I'm telling you, it was, and you did kind of give me that warning there too, a little bit about how you feel about it, and I was like, man, I'm just fascinated.
Yes.
I can't wait to get into these things, check them out and everything, and it was really wonderful, and we got to see a queen.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's great.
That doesn't happen all the time.
Awesome. Hey gardeners, thanks for tuning in to our show today. We'll be right back at it here in just a moment. I just wanted to take a second here to highlight our regular videos and features here on the Urban Gardener channel. Our weekly garden journals, and our incredible featured visits. All right, there we go. Hope you enjoyed that return visit, I guess we would call it, to the Southern Oregon Bee Association. Again, I want to go back. I got to go check it out again and maybe even try one of those classes this year and just kind of see what that's all about a little bit more. That was just a really thrilling visit to be able to like be around all of those bees for the first time like that. And I noticed Jay commented during that segment about how I have grown up completely deathly afraid of bees or any biting or stinging bugs and all of that. I was a kid running scared from anything flying around me like that. So I've grown a lot since then when it comes down to it. It was really, really fascinating. It was really fun and really, I mean, I'm telling you, really just something else to have all of these bees just rolling around you, doing their business and going about things and being able to watch them do that through their hives and everything was just really, really fun. So again, I hope you all really enjoyed that as well. As I mentioned just a little bit earlier, we didn't have a show yesterday. It was my granddaughter Layla's birthday yesterday, so we didn't have a show yesterday. But we did have some shows last week, and we had a really, really fun show last Saturday. In fact, we did one of our community shows where you guys, the audience, are the guest of the show. That was really fun. There was really, really great. They're getting better and better as we're doing those, and we're going to work on making that kind of more of a regular thing that we can do more often on the show. So I'm keeping an eye out on the schedule upcoming for another opportunity to do that. And then I will let you all know about that so that you guys can all, again, too. You guys did a great job shouting out to everybody else out there, because this was really a great opportunity for those folks with small channels and all of that to be able to come on the show and get a shout out, So great great show this last time. You'll want to go back and check that out, meet some of our viewers, which is really great too, is you guys chatting with each other each and every week in the chat while we're doing the show. But these shows give you guys all the opportunity to kind of meet each other and see each other and be able to come on here and share all of your gardening stories with everybody, so we can put faces to the names. And I know everybody's still talking too in the chat there about how they've kind of changed up what they've done there too, and how they're showing our names. What it looks like is that they're showing our YouTube handles and not our channel names now. So yeah, just a little bit something different there, but kind of cool. And last Sunday on the show too, here's a great discussion. You want to go back and check out last Sunday's show if you didn't get a chance to do that. We had on with us Dr. Derek Stoll, PhD from University of Tennessee, and returning to the show, one of his students, Alicia DeVore from Create My Garden. Alicia and I got together, or she was on the show last year. We talked a lot about getting Derek on and having a discussion about horticultural therapy. This is an upcoming profession that's really building its way into into the medical profession, and just fascinating, all the different aspects of horticultural therapy and how plants are really a healing experience for folks as well too. Gardens, growing plants, all that sort of stuff. And it's actually utilized by horticultural therapists to really help lots of folks in lots of different situations. And we talked a lot about the different ways horticultural therapy is used for folks, of all sorts of different types and issues and things and stuff. You'll want to go back and check out that show for sure if you haven't had the opportunity to yet. It was a great discussion. Right on. Well, you know what? It's about time here. We're running, like I said, just a little bit late today, but it's all well worth the wait when it comes to our next guests here on the show, because I'm always looking forward to being able to catch up with my good friends. And what I always say, my original YouTube live stream buddies, these guys were my first live stream guys to join with me here on the channel and everything too. So it's always great to have them back. So let's get started here with our Sunday Roundtable. All right. Let's welcome to the show, joining us from somewhere in a cabin. Where are you? Where are you at, Christopher? Is this still in Norway?
I'm in Bergen.
Bergen. All right.
Yes.
On.
I hope my microphone and my camera is working. I've never tested this setup before.
Oh yeah. Sounds good. Sounds all right. No problem.
Perfect.
No problem. Let's welcome our good friend. Let's not let you go there. Our good friend Khang Starr to the channel. Right on, guys. We got you back. Here we are. How you guys doing? Great to see you. Real quick here, Christopher. Tell us a little bit more about what you got going on there. You're on a little vacation with the family and all of that there, joining us from a cabin in Bergen. And again, that's still Norway though, right?
Yep, that's still Norway.
Okay,
it's on the west side of the country, and it's on a small island that we have our cabin on. So yeah, I'm in the middle of the ocean.
In the middle of the ocean. Oh
yes.
Wow, that's great. Right.
And I just got the Starlink set up, so hopefully there's some connection.
Yeah, no, it actually seems pretty good for a rural connection. I tried having an author on to talk about her book, I don't know, a couple months back, and she was like in some rural place there in Europe, I think somewhere in Spain or something, doing a similar thing out in some cabin somewhere, but her link up was not good. Yours is 100 times better.
Yeah, I'm relying on the Starlink system because I've been used to using the cell phone over here, but it's so spotty that it's just not worth it.
Yeah, right on. And right on, Kang, how are you doing, man? Really great to see you too, man. Always great, like I said, to have you guys back here with us. My original live stream buddies here. But how's everything been going on for you, Kang?
Oh, everything's been going great. Been busy. Kids
Busy.
are every weekend. There's something. There's kids' birthday. There's sports events. There's your cousin's birthday. It's like you never have time for yourself anymore.
Right. Yeah,
So the
exactly.
garden is kind of like it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller over the years. But I'm still growing a ton of stuff. So, once we get into it, I'll tell you guys. I'm so excited to share some of the fruits that I'm growing. It's going crazy right now.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, totally. Looking forward to hearing about, again, everything that you guys have got growing on, all the things that have been going on since we got to talk to you guys last, all of that. And so again, so you're on a trip, you're on vacation and all of that, so we don't get to see the grow room over there, Christopher. But how is this grow room we've been talking about all year coming along?
Yeah, now it's vacation.
You're in vacation mode,
The grow room
family
is also in
mode,
vacation
all of
mode.
that.
Yeah, as last time we spoke, I was talking about the problems I had with spider mites. So it's been just shut down since then, and I don't plan on opening it up until after the summer, so in August, maybe early September. So yeah, now I'm just keeping alive some of the things that I want to continue growing. I have a huge avocado and I have a lot of bananas and everything. So I'm just keeping that barely alive just to make sure that I have something to start back up again with. But it's gonna be only sticks in the beginning. It's not gonna be full plants because I've chopped down everything to get rid of the spider mites. And to really get rid of the spider mites, you can't have plants more than this. That then you can make really sure that nothing survives. But yeah, those huge things that don't work. So I'm just keeping a few things alive, the coffee and everything.
Break it down, get it small, manageable, all of that sort of stuff, which is really kind of a good segue to kind of what we are. We've been doing these roundtables now, so I've been trying to think of it again. I'm on busy mode myself, Kang. I know exactly what you're talking about as well with family and everything, and my granddaughter's birthday this weekend. All this sort of stuff is really happening. So again, that's why we had the replay for our In the Garden segment today, which I hope everybody really enjoyed. But one of the things I've been trying to do with the roundtable is kind of theme, a question or an idea or something like that we can talk about. And I kind of quickly earlier thought of, we could talk about gardening through challenges. And I think that's a pretty good segue again, Christopher, talking about issues and dealing with that sort of stuff. We tend to find falling into talking about pests and all of this sort of stuff when we have these conversations most of the time. But anyways, me though, when it comes to like gardening through challenges and everything, I think it's almost similar in a way of what you're talking about, how your restart is going to be. Like it'll be like sticks, you say, and that's kind of how I feel right now about my garden. There's a lot of spaces where I look around and I go, man, I wish there was something growing there as I normally would, or something here as I'm kind of replanning, readjusting. The whole herb garden is kind of, nothing's in there. I had pulled all the herbs out of the herb garden. We're rebuilding stuff there. So I've been kind of in this rebuilding process myself, in thinking about how and what we're going to do, because I got the new owner who's like, hey, you can do all of this stuff you ever thought about doing before. And so now, I've got all these ideas. I want to get them done and I want to do them. But that's kind of my challenge right now, is also growing my garden I would normally grow through all of this other stuff in these changes and these things that are kind of happening with the garden space, and so because I want to grow all of my tomatoes and my pepper plants and all these sort of things as well too. And that's kind of what I've had to do, is really just kind of pick a few things and say, okay, we'll really just concentrate on those as far as what will grow. A handful of extras as well too. Can't help myself, but but for the most part, try to keep it simple, and then really work these new things out. Hopefully, have some new spaces and some really cool stuff to be able to show as we get moving and growing forward into these next coming seasons and everything as well too. So it's kind of been my challenge, is almost similar to what you were saying, is like this restart in a way, but yet continuing to grow the garden I want to grow too. Yeah. And that's kind of what you were talking about there.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but to be honest, the biggest challenge is time. To be quite frankly, and I think that I speak for all of us now when I say that time is really challenging. It's been a lot of work for me, and every year I hope it's going to be better, and gets a little bit worse every single year. And it's just hard to find the time, and that's the biggest problem, because if you're going to have a big beautiful garden with everything, it's so important that you really have the time to follow it up. If you go away from the garden for a couple of weeks, then you almost lost control over everything. And it's the same with the indoor garden also. If you just try to keep things alive instead of actively working on it, you end up with something that just stops. It's not a miracle having things growing. It's just continuously working on it. And now with traveling in the springtime, it's so much going on that it's really hard to keep things going. And our greenhouse is just doing its own thing. There's gonna be a few things there, but it's not what it's normally gonna be. But we don't have the time. We just don't have the time for it. But in the fall again, I'm gonna start back up the grow room, as I always do every single year. And this year I'm gonna start up with the hydroponic setup instead of the soil, because now I figured out everything that I want to do, and I have all the parts and everything laid out. It's just a matter of just waiting for the right time to start back up again. I'm not going to do that until the summer is over. So yeah, it's not the time. It's too warm in there also. So yeah. But it's finding the time to do it. That's the hardest thing, I feel. The spider mites can be fixed if you just put the time in.
Yeah, it's like Jay says here, we all need staff to perform the mundane tasks for our lives. That way we can do the stuff that we want to do and enjoy. But yeah, time becomes a real issue when it comes down to it, and I find that to be another, I guess, a great one though too. Is as I think about that, doing this show, putting together and all of the background work that's doing that, plus maybe doing some of the things I want to do for videos and everything like that as well, on top of the other projects, plus the garden itself and everything. Managing all that time to try to get everything together doesn't always work out all the time. And as folks know who follow along with like my video schedule, how we release videos around here anymore, it can be very sporadic at times, because when it comes down to it, time management does become a real big issue for, a lot of us are really busy folks. I know you are as well, Christopher. Same with you, King, though, too. Like you said, all that family, all that stuff going on and everything as well. Like you said, your garden's getting a little bit smaller each and every year because, again, that's probably a very similar thing for you, is time management, along with all of these other things and projects and stuff we've got going on in our lives, sometimes can really dwindle down our capabilities of growing all the things that we'd really like to grow in our garden, right?
Yeah, and because of the lack of time and the need to be in the garden all the time, so I switched to things that are simpler. So I grow things that don't require a lot of work or don't require me to be around often. And if I have to be away for a week or two, it's fine. So what I do is I grow fruit trees and perennials and stuff like that. And over the years, they don't need me anymore. As they start to get bigger and bigger, I could be away for 2 to 3 weeks and they're fine. They live on my sprinkler, so I set my sprinkler, because I tap into my sprinkler so that I can put drip around the yard. And so while I'm away, and anytime I have Wi-Fi, I can connect to it, and I can just adjust which area needs watering. And so that's what I've been doing. You know, every time we travel, or we go on vacation, or we have to be somewhere, and you know, Texas heat is no joke. The ground is cracking, the soil is just like as hard as rocks, you know. And so in certain part of the garden, I have to kind of like set it up so that there's water dripping while I'm away for weeks and stuff like that. And so it's been working great. So technology plus gardening, Chris, man, that's where you're at.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I suppose again too, in that sense of time management, is getting all those systems set up and working right and doing all that stuff so that maybe this next year as vacation time hits in, you'll have all that stuff just rolling and doing its thing, right? Christopher, I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. And so I'm just hung up with the temperature. You say that the ground is cracking. We're in the lower 50s, so it's
right.
It's freezing. We're outside with a jacket today and everything, and it's we had a great start of the summer. Start of the summer in May was okay. We had some nice weather, but now the full month of June has been raining and cold and windy all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. So it's not you don't get to go outside with the shorts and a t-shirt to just do gardening. It's been just a handful of days the whole year. So it takes a little bit of the motivation away from being outside and doing stuff.
Yeah, it can. That's for sure. I'm originally from the Seattle area, Seattle, Washington, and it's really known for being gray and gloomy and wet all the time, and even during the summertime and all of that. And this last week, we had a kind of one of those weekends that I haven't seen here in Southern Oregon since I've been down here in Southern Oregon, but I used to know a lot about in Seattle, what we call January. Or up there we call June gloom too. There's the June gloom, and that's what he's just gray and rainy during our as summertime's kicking in and all of that. But that happened a bit here. It didn't get rainy, but it got really kind of cool and gray and gloomy and all that last weekend. And I was just teasing with everybody that I even wore a long sleeve shirt on the Sunday show last week because I was like, it's cold in here, man. I'm not used to this. But now we're right back at it, though, Khang. I'm telling you, we could be like Texas here as well, too, where it's just that once summer kicks in, it's just, we're already today. I think we might get close to 100 degrees today. So like I was saying, it was like in the early 60s, 61, 62 last week, and we're at 100 degrees this week. So
Chris is like, I don't want to talk about this.
Right.
It's amazing how our temperature is almost complete opposite, Chris? You're like,
yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I think I can almost guarantee that mine is always lower.
Right.
Your winter is like my summer.
That's true. That is
true. Our weather patterns would have to be on a real weird swing for you to have a hotter day than us, right?
Yeah.
In any time of the year, probably.
Yeah, and it's just like a couple of months that you really have the time to go outside and do stuff. And then within that time, you're going on vacation and you're always busy with work and everything. So you really need to plan all projects or you need to only think about those projects when your time off. And it's just not happening with the young children and with the kids and everything. It's
you poor guys, you guys. And I'm telling you, I can feel it in your voice, Chris. I can feel it in your personality at this moment. You're missing your plants. You need your green things. And really, you got a real good case of the June plant gloom, right? This is like I'm not getting it. You're not getting what you need.
Yeah, but it's like I have the greenhouse going. I have grapes. I have tomatoes coming, and I have everything coming. But it's so slow. My plants are so small, and it's just too late of a start, and it's too much weeds in the grow house, in the grow
Mhm.
greenhouse,
Yeah.
and it's just a mess. And you always need to
Yeah.
go back down there and focus on the thing if you want to have it the way you want it. So it's just you come to June and you see, it's not going the way it's supposed to go, and you kind of just give up for the year, and
Yeah.
try to refocus on next year's outdoor. And that's just the way it is. But we also are working with apple trees outside, and we have strawberries, and we have some other things
Yeah.
going. So it's not
It's
it's
not
just
nothing.
it's just scaled back a lot from what it's normally.
Yeah.
So I think we have a normal healthy garden going on. I don't think it's a problem with that. It's just a little bit different when you're used to having a full greenhouse with everything in 500 square feet of greenhouse, and you're normally I would almost always shut down the grow room in the summer either way. So it's not
Hmm.
it's not just about that, but
Yeah.
it's that when you don't have the time, you try to do what's necessary, and you don't bring out the camera, because that only triples the time it takes to do something.
Yep.
And yeah, you guys know the same thing. When
Hmm.
you have to bring out the camera, and you're trying to do some sort of programming, and you're trying to plan a little bit what you're doing, it takes a lot of time. So
Yeah.
so it's just that you do your thing, and nobody sees it,
Especially
and
how
that
we're
way
trying to make videos and stuff. I know you like to
yeah,
do a little good editing and things like that as well too. And I probably over edit my videos, but I can't help myself when I get out there. So that makes my time even double the time, because I get out there and I start getting all creative with what I want to do with my video and everything. And next thing you
yeah.
know, it's 4 hours later and I haven't only got about a quarter of it done.
Yeah, yeah, but it's a
But
matter of how you normally do it, because you
yeah,
get into a routine, and you try to. So I have my way of making videos, you have your, and Kang has his, and
yep.
it's all about doing it the way you're comfortable doing it. And sometimes it takes a lot of time,
Hmm.
and also like for instance, you, Kang, you seem to have a little bit uh, easier setup for doing the filming, but you also do a lot of planning with your projects, where you go 2, 3, 4 months in the same project,
Hmm.
and you have to kind
Hmm.
of always keep that in mind.
That's the
And
stuff
it's
I can't do. I'm telling you, Kang. You're so that's the
yeah,
stuff right there. I'm again, great point, Chris, because uh, I go out there and I'll go and I'll create an idea and I'll get creative with what I'm doing at the time and all of that, and I'll do time lapses of things of that moment or whatever I'm doing as something like that. But Kang, I'm telling you, those things are really cool. What I can't do is like set a project. Let's do a piece of it here, I'll hold this, and then we'll do a piece of it here, a piece of it here, and then create a video showing you through the stages of that project. I think that's really, really cool as well too. And then and so you're only just really grabbing pieces here and pieces there too, so I'm sure that's kind of helpful in building a project together as well, versus trying to do
Yeah,
something big all at once, right?
yeah, it does. And the reason I do that is because that's what I expect. Because when I watch,
Right.
so I was on another live the other day, and
Hmm.
we're talking about videos that could be very misleading. So, for example, people are doing videos of how to do something. Let's say how to clone a persimmon tree, for example, by cutting a branch and put it into the dirt, right? And so they do the video on okay, here's the branch, I cut it, put it in the dirt. Okay, so that's how you propagate persimmons. But did it ever work? And so, I searched all over, and months and months later, down the line, I went back to the same video, and I asked, did it work? Thank you. And they said, no, it didn't work. It's like, well, it didn't work. Why didn't you take off the video? Because
All
you're
right.
misleading thousands and thousands of people and wasting their time on
Yeah.
something that didn't work just because you had a view there. If it didn't work, just take it off, because that's very, very misleading. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm sure hundreds of people have tried it because of the video to find out that it didn't work, but they still
Or
kept.
or change your title.
Oh yeah, change the title. Say, oh, I tried it, didn't work.
Didn't work. Yeah, even just put didn't work, but here's what I tried in case you think of trying the same thing or something like that. But right up front, this didn't work.
There's so many videos there. You can search it right now, how to do something that never worked. And the reason I do my videos the way I do it, because I need to make sure that it works before I release the video from start to end. And if it doesn't work, I'm not going to release the video because that's misleading. That's going to make people think that it might work, but it doesn't work. And it's going to waste a lot of their time, you know? And
yeah,
so,
in my case, in that similar situation, like I'm doing this pepper series this year. So I'm taking everybody from seed to seed through my pepper growing experience and everything. And this is the closest I get so far to putting together a project like that. But I'm taking everybody through the whole year. You're going to follow along with everything, no matter how it works out. We're going to try all these different things like topping pepper plants off and isolating pods and do all that sort of stuff throughout the whole series and everything, you know. Really for me, I would not feel comfortable doing that if I hadn't done that for years now and built a system that I've used for years and been able to do that in a sort of sense like that. But no, I love the way you set up those things and do that. And that is a great reason too, is to be showing complete projects so that you get results along with it.
Yeah. And you know, Chris, I was going to tell you about the project that I restarted, grafting multiple peppers onto the same one.
Oh, the Frankenpepper.
Yeah, so I did it again, and so far I've had 2 of the grafts working just fine. And I did one for the baby plant that I brought to show you right here.
Awesome.
This is a chinense right here on the top.
Oh,
and that is the annuum right here at the bottom.
Now that might be
awesome.
to go.
Yeah, and so it's growing just fine. Initially, the top didn't grow because the bottom keep growing so much. So I cut up all of the little branches down here, and then the energy gets focused back to the top, and now the top is growing.
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
So it's great. So I did it to my other system, and I have 2 of them, and they're growing so great right now. They're starting to fruit. So you're gonna see multiple different fruit.
Wow. Can you place a backetum also, or graft a backetum also on the same?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's what I say. Get molded and now see if you can't get all 5 of them somehow, right?
That's what I'm trying to. I think the hardest one to do maybe the pubescent. The branches are really thin to start out with, and when they grow larger, they get really tough. So it's really hard to do that. And so I'm going to try it.
Yeah, but that's where the fun lies.
Get them while they're try to work it while they're young before they harden up all that. But yeah, that would be so cool because, you know, I think one of the most fascinating like fruit trees are these fruit trees with all the different varieties on one tree, you know. I just love that idea. And so having a pepper plant that does that with the different species of peppers like that, that's just, and getting them to grow together is just, that's actually a really cool project.
And then another one that I was telling Chris was my apple that I grafted a pear onto.
Oh yeah.
And it has fruits on it. Both of them. The pear has a fruit on it on the apple tree.
Wow.
That's
cool.
It does work. It just is not going to be very healthy, but it will work and it will fruit.
But pears and apples are a similar type of fruit, right? Or a fruit tree, right? So like say stone fruits, you would have to utilize only stone fruits if you were doing that, or right? Wouldn't that be the case?
Very similar to that, yeah. But somehow apples and pears, you can graft on to each other, vice versa. So I did one onto the pears and I did the reverse, and they both worked.
But do you think in the end that it will be that one will be more dominant than the other, or do you think they will grow together in the future?
So I've read so many articles saying that they will die eventually, and I'm sure they will, but I'm still waiting. It's been 2 years now; it's still alive. So they said that usually after the 2-year mark, it will die. So I'm just waiting to see if it's gonna die. But so far, it's been 2 years; it's still growing.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Putting, like I said, putting these different types of things together. I still really think that pepper plant idea is really cool to be able to see like one where if you could get them all and all together and have one like that. I don't know if that's ever been done before, but it would be really, really cool to see.
I mean, the one thing about pepper plants is there's so many things you can do. For example, I was growing one in a hydroponic system, the little system that Chris gave me.
Yeah.
And you know how it's really small, right, Chris? So the light can only reach so much. And so when the plants get larger, it goes outside of the light.
Right.
Yeah. It goes out and around.
Yeah,
it grows around into it.
It gets so big. So I have to cut those branches that are outside because they're not getting any light, so they're not any good.
Yeah.
And so when I cut those branches, I drop them in a bottle of water with water in it. And then a month later, they all rooted. So now I have more plants that I can grow again. So you can propagate peppers in just water only. And so here's the thing that's really interesting, Chris, that you might. So I cut branches of different length, right? And so what I find is if you cut branches around 6 to 8 inches, those will root faster than the ones that are like this short. So I've done 2 experiments, right, where I take 3 branches that are around 6 to 7 inches long, and 3 that are around 2 to 3 inches long, and I place them both in water. And all of the ones that are longer, they all rooted. All the ones that are short did not root yet. So when rooting, it could. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm just testing. It seems like the longer branches, not too long, just enough. It'll root faster.
Cool.
It's worth a test.
Yeah.
Right on.
So now because of that, I'm gonna do more experiments to see the 6 to 8 inches is the prime length for rooting.
Yeah, but I'm really interested in the experiment there with grafting different species of peppers into one tree. I've never thought about that. That's really interesting. You could have sweet peppers and you could have habaneros or something like that on the same plant, and you would kind of only need one plant.
Yeah,
that's a fun idea.
You can grow them for like 3 to 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
You can keep them alive.
Yeah, if you can keep them going as a perennial, basically, it makes it worth that effort to do that as well too. Because getting them to grow for a while afterwards. Because as you were talking about, I was thinking like, okay, well then you got to regrow them and you have to set them up every year. But then no, they can be grown as a perennial if you're keeping them indoors and all that for several years if you can keep them growing right.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about doing that hydroponically. That would be fun to have it indoors hydroponically, and but then you can really be selective about which one is going to be the main rootstock. Then you can really select the pepper that grows really thick in the bottom, because there's so many different peppers, and some are really spindly in the bottom, and some are huge.
Yeah, back to the fruit tree thing is finding that good rootstock, right?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about hydroponic peppers is that when I test graft them, it's funny. Anytime you cut a hydroponic peppers, liquid kind of leaks out of the cut area, and so there's always fluid flowing. And so when you graft, it seems like the success rate is much better in hydroponic than outside. Because when I do it outside, I'm the condition outside is very rough, and so some days it could dry out if you forget to water it, and so the graft would die. But in hydroponic,
it would be dependent on the raining or the rain or something like that. Yeah.
So there's constant flow of liquid, always inside the trunk, and so when you graft it, the success is very high.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, good. There you go. Write that experiment down, Chris, and we'll see how you guys both do it.
Too many on the list.
We'll see which one of you get to that. Get all 5 of them going.
Grafting is the way to go, guys. Because I'm doing it to my pears and apples. You just talked about apples earlier, Chris. I have one apple, so this season, I ordered some grafts from a company, and they were coming to the end of the season. So I ordered 3 grafts. They sent me like 25 grafts because they didn't need
wow.
it. And so I grafted about 18 of them all onto the same tree because a lot of them failed. But one of them, I mean, there's one branch that is really big, and along that one branch they have, you know, branches. And so I graft each branch onto all of it. And so now I have like 10 grafts on one tree of different varieties.
Oh
and
my
so
gosh.
they flowered this year, but they all dropped off. So next year, I think they're going to. So I can't wait for next year to see what happens.
That's
Chris,
also really good for pollination.
Yeah, you're doing apple tree in your zone and it's doing great. Maybe try some grafting so you can get a bunch of them. You know?
Yeah, that's definitely on my plan, and I'm just waiting for the tree to get really, really good going before I start doing the grafting. But most definitely, that's the way to go.
Yeah. Is there other people who grow varieties of apples and different things around you? You know, like you might be able to find someone, hey, do you have a good tasting variety of apple that you grow or something like that? Maybe go grab some chunk pieces and graft some of theirs that grow well there and taste good as well too. And on there, you know, might be kind of fun as well.
I grew some apple from seed, and you know, it takes forever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I want to see what happens when I grow fruit, just to see what kind of, you know, apples. Because you never know. Apples are just one of those things that when you grow from seed, you won't know what it's going to be. It could be a good apple, it could be a bad apple, it could be a crap apple.
Yeah. Well, and then again, coming back to your idea of doing these long form video projects and all that sort of stuff with folks not showing results of all that sort of stuff. I've heard that over and over again, but I've never seen a video. I've never really watched anybody grow something from seed. You know what I mean? And then come back to it many years later when it's fruiting and go, okay, look, this is what I've got from my results before. So I don't know myself if that's even necessarily all that true. You know, I've heard people say, I've never seen really kind of footage or anybody showing it, but I've heard people say that they've grown really great tasting, awesome apples from seed.
I mean, that could happen, but it's going to take a long time. So people just don't have the time to invest in something like that. But so what I'm doing right now is instead of, you know, waiting for the apple to fruit, I'll save one branch for it to fruit later. And then the rest, I graft something else onto so I can get fruits right away while I wait for the other ones to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was, I was saying that if you make the rootstocks from seed, then you can just graft on top of them something that's ready.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. And so I have a few trees out there in my yard that are like almost about 3 years old, no fruit yet. So I can't wait to see what is going to happen. But in the meantime, I have already grafted fruiting buds of another variety onto it that will fruit already. So I can get fruit while I wait for that to see what that's going to be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's cool. I got to do that too with some of my my trees though. We've talked about before my pear tree that I've moved around and I've done things over the last several years trying to figure out like, okay, why is this thing every year dropping all of its fruit, not holding on to any of its fruit or anything? And I think we've even talked about this as well too, is that thinking about maybe grafting on some other varieties onto the tree or maybe getting a second tree or something to help with pollination. But lo and behold, guys, I moved this pear tree into my back patio this time. And mind you, I've moved it before and didn't get any decent results. I moved it into the back patio this time, and I've still got 12 fruit on it that are sitting on there, and it's going to hold on to them. I think I'm going to actually be eating pear fruit off of this tree for the first time this year. So I think it really did come down to location maybe when it came down to it for this tree specifically. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. But I still want to do some of that grafting though, grafting on some new varieties, pears, maybe even try an apple variety on the pear tree like you're doing with yours or something. But with my apples, I'd really like to get some multi varieties of different apples on some of those trees for sure too. It would be really fun, and kind of jumping into my first kind of grafting. Although I think really, now that I'm thinking about it though, if I'm doing in this pepper series, it would be kind of fun to try to play around with maybe a pepper graft or something like that as well too. Maybe I'll think about doing that for an upcoming video or something like that in the pepper series, just to experiment with it. But it would be something I would throw into it, you know, that I haven't done before, you know. But it'd still be kind of fun to play around with it, because I want to try to play around with some different stuff with that.
Yeah, peppers they're really easy to graft because the trunk is really soft, so you can hold them really easily. And so the grafting, your success is going to be very, very high.
Yeah, that'll be fun for sure. That, and definitely got to get in on the pear tree. Maybe that's what I should do just for this year, just for fun, is maybe switch them. Maybe put an apple on the pear and a pear on the apple or something, just to see which one will take or whatever. Right? That would be fun.
It's a nice way to prune your trees.
Yeah, because I definitely got to do that. I am not, and that's the thing too, is I am not very good at pruning. I do not have vision or like a sculpting vision for pruning. You know, every time I'm like, oh, this will look good, and then it grows out, and I'm like, oh, maybe that wasn't the right decision.
I've thought about the same thing. I've always just gone with the more technical way of pruning things, but it was really fun when I started to doing a little bit of bonsai. That's where I really got into trying to take a look at the same branch or the same leaf or something like that, many angles and times, and it's a really good exercise in trying to shape something and to try to see how things are going to look. And I think that's scalable and transferable over to the larger plants and trees also. So start bonsaiing.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I do have something I want to try some bonsai with as well too, because really it's one of those kind of I don't know, plant dreams of mine, is to be able to afford and be able to go buy myself just a nice, beautiful, just really well sculpted bonsai. I've seen so many of these just beautiful bonsai at these different garden shows and stuff, and I just want to walk away from one of those shows with one day. You know what I mean? Just go, here you go, take it with me and everything. It's just been, but I want to try maybe even sculpting one of my own. I've kind of got this little juniper I've been growing from a juniper I've got up front that I thought maybe I would try that with or something and see how it'll work. But that would be kind of fun. Make your own.
Yeah, I just started with a jade inside. I only had one leaf, and but that was like 5, 6, 7 years ago or something. And now it's a beautiful bonsai, and it's in a bonsai pot, and I've been pruning it several times. I let it grow for almost a year, and then I do some heavy pruning and trying to reshape and find a new center. And that's been a good exercise. And the advantage of something as boring as a jade is that you don't have the pest problems, and you also don't have the problem with things dying if you're away for 3 days. So
they can handle
really
it.
good stuff. Yeah, because if you, I see so many people online and on YouTube that are active bonsai gardeners, and they are more tied to their garden than to a dog. It's just so much work, constantly watering 2-3 times a day, and it's just not something that my lifestyle would be able to handle for many years. So it's better to start on the simpler path than to go all out on something that's really difficult to keep alive.
Yeah, that's true for sure. Let's see here real quick. I want to make sure I saw something in here. Anyways, questions, folks. If you have any questions, I see that Jay's reminding me, Bowtie asked some questions at the beginning of the show. I did highlight them. I'm going to ask them here in a second for sure. But yeah, if you all do have any questions, definitely drop those into the chat there. Put them in big, bold, capital letters. Let me know if you got any questions for us or the guests. Real quick here, Bowtie did ask here for I guess we can make this for all of us. And if what would you grow if you only had one container and one season? What would you grow? Huh? Let's see here. One container, one season. What would I grow? It would definitely probably have to be. This is a tough one. What am I going to enjoy the most? I'm pretty sure it's going to be some sort of pepper variety is what I'm thinking. I would probably grow some sort of pepper variety. Easy. You think this question's easy, Christopher?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would grow my large basil.
Yeah.
Most definitely my large basil. That's the most versatile plant that I can grow. It's the best yield, and it's the most expensive in the store. So if I have one container 1 year, it had to be a large container. Hopefully, I would grow a massive basil.
Yeah.
And it would be guaranteed result. If I grow a pepper and it dies halfway in, you're there with nothing.
Right on. That's excellent.
I'm not a good gardener. I need to focus on something that's a guarantee.
You need guarantees here, right? Right on. Excellent. How about for you, King? One container, one season. What are you gonna grow?
Oh man, this is gonna be a tough one.
I know it was kind of tough for me. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, would I change my mind? I don't know.
Chives.
I might go back.
I use so much of it, the garlic chives.
Yeah.
And those things are unkillable in one container.
Right.
They will just grow so much that you will have the whole season to use it. And then they will grow back next year after the freeze.
That's true.
You always have to. They'll grow in the spring. They'll grow in the summer. They'll grow in the fall. They'll die in the wintertime, but they grow right back in the spring. And we use so much of it. And so I think it's just one container, one season, I would grow garlic chives.
Garlic chives. Yeah, that's a great choice. Great choice. I like how you both kind of went with the kind of like the herb garden selections and all of that. I might, if I was to maybe even switch, I would probably go to my original food plant and maybe even do a cucumber, like maybe because I love lemon cucumbers. They're really, they're really prolific plants. I would probably go with something like that maybe. But yeah, I would take the risk with the annuals. And I would although the pepper plant, if I was in the right place, say this was one container, and one of the caveats is only one season ultimately, though, too. But yeah, a pepper plant, at least, like we were talking about before, if we needed to carry it on and keep it going and keeping it going too. But chives as well, all of that sort of stuff. I mean, great choices for sure.
I was thinking about cucumbers too, because I love cucumbers.
Yeah,
but then my cucumber plants produce really well, but then after the production, they die. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't come back like all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Cucumbers is a great choice. I think that also.
Yeah.
If you really get that thing going.
And another thing that I was gonna say was Thai basil. Man, we love those things.
The basils, yeah.
And one plant is all you need, because if you see my plants in the garden, you'll be like, what in the world? Because I don't grow Thai basil, so we buy them fresh at the grocery store, and I just save like one branch of it.
Right.
I put them in water, and then they root.
Yeah.
And then I'll put them in the garden, and so I'll do like five rootings, and now the whole raised bed is full of Thai basil. And if you want to keep having them produce leaves, just pluck out the flowers. Don't let them flower. And so if you don't let them flower, they keep producing these beautiful leaves. I mean, my raised bed, I have this big 10 by 12 raised bed, and they're full of basil. I mean, they're just beautiful, green, lush, and massive. They're huge because they love the. So I use the fish fertilizer, the Alaska fish fertilizer, and basil love stuff. You don't need to use anything else. It's just fish fertilizer, and I mean these things go nuts. You don't have to do a lot. You just kind of like do once a week, and that's all.
Mm-hmm.
And man, my raised bed is like right now is full of Thai basil. I use them in my soups. I dry them to cook with, and you just pick them up and it smells so good. And the bees visit because I would allow one plant to go to flower, and the rest I just use for the leaves. And so one plant will attract the bees while the rest are leaves for you.
Yeah. That's great. Lots and lots. Yeah, again, too, that's one of those cool things that you can get from the store and then bring it home, and next thing you know, it's all over your garden.
They're very expensive in the store too, and they don't last very long. Maybe a few days, and they're not good anymore. Yeah. So if you grow them in the backyard, anytime you need them, just go there and grab
just
them.
Fresh.
If you don't need them, they'll keep growing. Just don't let them flower, and then you have basil for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Excellent, man. Well, I mean, David here is really brought the house with some of these really fun questions. I'm definitely going to have David contribute some cool Sunday theme questions for sure here. But let's see here. He asked, Khang, how do you balance beauty, flavor, and heat when breeding a new pepper?
I love this question. The peppers are very versatile, right? It's almost like when I think about it, it's like breeding dogs, right? Dogs are like, you breed them, the traits bring over really easily,
Yeah,
and
exactly,
it's kind of like that. So you pick a nice looking peppers, or few nice looking peppers, then you will get those traits over very easily.
Mm-hmm. Same
with the flavor. And of course, with the heat, you just have to breed them with something that has higher heat. And it is one of those plants that when you breed them, the traits bring over so easily. And so when you have a beautiful pepper, when you breed them, you're gonna get a beautiful pepper. It doesn't. You don't breed a beautiful pepper and it turns out ugly. You're not gonna get that often. No. So it's really crazy because peppers are so versatile. And so what I usually do when I breed peppers is like I have to like the way they taste, I have to like the way they look, I have to like the way they grow, and I have to like the color. And so red is the dominant color. So if you breed something with red, you most likely are going to get the red traits first.
Right.
And then down the line, you may get that recessive traits where it comes out with a different color. That's why my lemon starbursts, have all these peach, yellow, and then you get the red ones. And it's pretty crazy, but yeah, you pick a good looking pepper. You breed it, you're gonna get a good looking pepper. And so one example I did a while back is that I love the way there's this what was that one pepper that I read that produced like crazy? They're so beautiful. Sangria. Have you seen the sangria?
Yeah.
Those are so beautiful. They're really small. They're ornamental pepper, but they have no taste, no flavor, no nothing. It's just a tasteless pepper for ornamental purposes. And so I was at the park one day. I was like, man, those things are so beautiful. If they have a little bit of heat and flavor, that would be amazing. So I said, okay, you know what? There's the idea. I'm gonna take that pepper and I will breed it with something with flavor and heat, and it worked.
Yeah.
And so, it's just like that. You take a good-looking pepper, and then you breed it with something else that, with spice and something like that. You mix them together. You're very likely going to get both of those.
Right. You ever just look at two different peppers and just go, oh, these two would look cool together?
Yes, I did. That's how I got the lemon starburst, because I bred the Bahamian goat, which is my all-time favorite pepper.
Yeah.
And the MOA Scotch bonnet, which is the other all-time favorite. And they taste amazing. They look amazing. They grow. They're so beautiful. And so I was like, you know what? Instead of growing both of these here all the time, why don't I just breed them together and just grow one? And so that's how the idea came.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
I just need to show you guys. I just took the picture out the window now.
That is amazing.
Oh
my goodness.
Look at that.
It was
That's
just going
right
by
out your
outside
window.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Wow.
We just had our friend Bowtie David there, who's contributing these great questions today. David, thank you very much. But he is on a Disney cruise, and he was on our community show with us last week, showing us the cruise ships there in Florida as well too.
Wow.
So it's great. So we got a cruise ship rolling through are they called fjords up there in Norway, right? Yeah. So that's just, man, that's beautiful. Beautiful. What a view. All right, let's see here.
Compared to the mountains I normally see.
Exactly. Bowtie was asking Christopher, how has gardening in harsh conditions shaped your view of resilience in life? So we're getting some philosophical gardening questions here, man. This is what we're talking about here.
It's for us, it's more the state of the world right now.
Right.
It's always a question of when will we need to be self-served or self-sufficient, or what's the name for it?
I think that's about right.
Yeah, and it's you get a little bit more appreciation of how they did it back in the 1800s when you see how much work it is to get stuff going, and also it's all about growing what fits your climate. And that's not something I'm good at. I'm always trying to do stuff that's not correct for my climate. But I could do so much more if I went with the regular things, like growing cabbage or kale and potatoes, carrots. All these things grow amazing without any supervision. But all the things that I want to grow, like cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, and all sorts of other things, they you couldn't survive off of those before because you would have a season with cold weather and you get nothing. So it's a good question. I'm not sure how to answer it in a decent way.
Right. No, that sounds about right for sure. Absolutely. Excellent.
I think, for Chris, it's like Chris is always pushing what his climate cannot do, and so that's what I learned most about watching Chris's channel. Is like, I can't do this, but I'll find a way. And so it's almost like incorporating tech with gardening, which is what a lot of us are missing out on. And I think because I'm also working in the IT field, there's always better ways to do things. Even though when it sounds like it's almost impossible, there's going to be a way to do it. And so, when Chris's climate, with his background and stuff like that, he's always pushing the envelope and doing something that we're not supposed to be done, like growing the coffee tree or growing the fig tree inside.
Yeah,
But
again,
also
great point to our thoughts for today's roundtable. Gardening through challenges, and if anybody's got any challenges, it's definitely someone growing out of Norway. When you got let's see here too. What was this Wickershire project was saying? Norway growing window is what, 3 or 4 weeks, right? You know what I mean? And again too, so if anybody knows about growing through challenges but yet creating fun projects and ways to do that sort of stuff, definitely, Christopher.
If all fails, Chris, grow ground cherries, right?
Yeah, those damn
Yes,
brown cherries are
exactly.
everywhere. I'm keeping some alive this year also because they're growing everywhere, so they're back at it again. But yeah, one thing
I
that I
have
want to
some right
add.
now. I want to bring
Yeah,
it up because I have a bunch of them in my yard that I did
Mm.
not grow, and now
yeah.
they're fruiting like crazy.
I
I
don't know
didn't grow
what's
them.
wrong with these. I think you can grow them on the North Pole. I don't know what's going on with those. But yeah, I just wanted to add something there also with keeping the motivation up when you're growing in with problems in the garden. It's all
Mhm.
about the adventure of starting something and see if it works. You don't you don't want to you don't want to give up if something doesn't work. It's just part of the journey. And if you try something 1 year and it doesn't work, it means you need to go back, reevaluate your approach
Mhm.
to the project, and see if you can find another way to do it. That's one of the keys for doing this. And I have so many people, including my family, asking, how on earth are you doing something, failing, and then trying back at it once again every single year? You're trying, you're starting the garden, you're growing it
Yeah.
up to a beautiful garden, you have to throw everything out because of pests. How do you
Yeah.
keep the motivation? But that's really what it's all about. The journey of trying something. And
Mhm.
for me, I get the same feeling every single year when I start my seedlings in solo cups, those red solo cups.
Yeah.
It's the same feeling every single
Yeah.
time. It's the beginning of something that you know, in a couple of weeks you're going to be doing your first pruning. You're going to look at the structure, you're going to see what you want to do with it. Maybe you want to move it into water, maybe you want to do this and that. And that's where the fun lies for me. uh,
Yeah.
it, when my banana reached the ceiling, the fun is kind of over. Then you are near the end of the project. But
Mm.
on the way up, that's what keeps me motivated, at least.
Yeah, but then hopefully then there's a new little pup that pops up down on the bottom there, and
Yeah,
you're like, "Hey, here we go
and the
again," you know?
circle of life.
Right? And that's just one of another things too that's just amazing, and also just comes into that sort of, that sort of, healing effect in a way too that gardening has, is that each season, as you say, we get this, and it's never changed for me in every season that I've grown as well too, is this sense of hope. For one, I may have tried something last year, it didn't work out. I may have tried every single year for the last 10 years and it hasn't worked out, but maybe once or twice, with some things, but I still keep going back to it. I still keep trying. I still keep growing because each year I've got this hope that this season's going to be great. It's going to work out and that sort of thing. And I'll finally get it. Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe it's this little tweak or, hey, my pear tree, perfect example, right? Here it is, several seasons now, and finally we've moved it to one spot. Here's some pears, and now success. After all, season after season of like, oh, I'm just hopeful maybe I'll get to have some pears this year. This year, finally we do. So, we keep that
yeah,
hope up, and the garden kind of brings us that as
yeah,
well, that opportunity to have that each year. Because again, I love how you say that. It's like it's never changed. Every single season, I get the same feeling, right, Kang? You get that as well too, huh?
It's
It's just
definitely
like,
trial and error. If you
yeah,
give up, like Chris just mentioned, then you're never gonna learn. Like there's different ways to do things. And
yeah,
so again, like the pear tree, like my spring pear is not fruiting, and then you didn't give up on it. You moved it,
hmm
and
yeah,
by experimenting, saying, you know what, maybe this place didn't have enough sun. I need to move it into a spot where it could get more sun. It's just trial and error, and
yeah,
what and I think gardening, there's a lot you can learn from other people. There's a
hmm
lot of things that you can learn by
yeah.
experimenting and doing a lot of things. If you give up,
Yep. This is, oh, Looks like you're getting a little background on that. I'll just that's all right. But anyways, but yeah, I mean that's the thing, trial and error, that sort of thing. Sometimes again too, like with the pair, you don't know what it is, but you just keep trying something new and different. You stumble upon something, and then find that sort of success and everything too, which makes it again something that's really kind of fun when we're talking about growing in the garden.
Is my family in?
Oh, is it? Maybe. I think there might be a little background on somewhere.
Yeah, they're speaking over here.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I can't throw them out.
Project I'm working on.
Hmm?
I have a new project that I was working on, Chris. So last year I pulled my aloe out of the ground. The little baby aloe out of the ground. So I pulled it out completely and I put it in a little box and I left it in my garage. So it's been a year now. Those plants are still alive. Can you believe that?
Oh, they're still going.
No water, no nothing. It's still alive.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before, right?
Yeah, I was telling people, aloe is one of those plants that they're nearly immortal. They cannot die. I mean, unless you dry them up and they become crispy. They will live forever out of the ground if they don't get dried up and become crispy. Because my aloe right now, it's been a year now, it's still going. So I'm doing a video right now to show people that you can pull the plants completely out of the ground and leave it in your garage for 1 year, and they will plant in the ground and it grow right back. It's ridiculous.
Wow, it's so crazy.
I'm watching it. Yeah, and I'm watching a YouTube channel. I think we were talking about it last time. I don't remember the name of the channel, but it's this guy down in New Mexico or something, all the way down south, and he's trying to replenish the soil with watering. He's digging everything, and he's trying to make pits for water, and is terraforming the whole desert area.
Yeah,
and I think we were the ones to talk about it last time. I think that you also, Kang, has been watching that channel, and now he had some rain recently, and he said it was almost 2 years or something since the last rainfall, and it's just when you're looking at and there's a lot of cactus growing there and everything, and you see everything just looks dead, but when the rain came through, 14 days later, everything is just green, just explosion of green.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, they can survive.
Yeah, they got a lot of those types of what is it? There's something called Saginella or something like that they just live there and they look dead, look like it's a dried up nothing or whatever, and then a rain comes through every couple of years, like you say, and the next thing you know, they're blooming and green and setting off new ones real quick, and then boom, they're right back to dry and everything, and then we'll kind of regrow in that. Deserts are really crazy when it comes to those sorts of things, and especially the aloes too. I mean, I love how these
and you also have
do that.
The plant called I think it's called the desert rose or something.
Desert rose, yeah.
It just crawls in. I had one laying
opens up.
I had one for 2 years, and I just put it in water, and it just opened up and started growing back up again. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There's another cactus called the ghost plants. Have you ever heard of it? The ghost plants?
No.
Ghost plant, cactus.
Yeah, they're just little succulent. They're succulent plants. And so I have this plant. I got a few leaves from my father-in-law a long time ago. This is years ago. And I grew it into a plant. And then, over the years, they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And so now they're gotten so big where I don't care about them anymore. And so every once in a while, I'll trip, I'll kick it over, and the leaves will just fall off. And then you just leave it there, and no water, no nothing, right on concrete. They'll sprout a new plant.
Oh man, that's something I got to do.
Yeah, that's 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Texas with the concrete. It's literally an egg on it. But those plants, it dropped right there next to the pot, and then they started sprouting little babies.
Just
I mean, these things are ridiculous. I mean, I think we should terraform with those plants, Chris. You can't kill
right.
them.
That's right. That's
Just
right.
drop a
I
bunch
can.
of leaves
I can.
everywhere.
Yeah, I can for sure. I'll find a way.
I'll just give it 5 feet of snow and we will see.
Mhm,
Oh, you know
mhm.
what? The snow came to Texas. We had -3 or 4 degrees. It filled the whole pot up. Didn't matter. It grew right back. Didn't die.
Yeah.
So
Just didn't
cold
care
won't kill
what
it. Heat won't
conditions
kill
you
it.
were throwing at it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cold won't kill it for a brief period.
Yeah.
When you get frost in the pot, that's the problem.
That may be, but we had cold for 1 week in Texas.
Wow.
1 week.
Yeah.
It's below freezing, so it's -2 degrees to like 3 degrees Fahrenheit, and
Wow.
it didn't die. 1 whole week. I
Wow.
left it
Nice.
outside. It didn't. It froze. The plant. You know, when I plucked off the leaf, it's hard
Yeah.
as ice,
Wow.
and I don't know how it didn't die.
So yeah, at a cellular level, the cellulose was able to freeze at a cellular level and still be able to grow and be fine after thawing back out.
Defrost,
Yeah.
it came back. I don't know how they did it. The leaves were frozen as ice.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah, you
crazy.
need
Which is
some-
crazy to think of for a desert plant that has evolved all over these, hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years, in desert conditions to be able to still have
So, yeah,
resilience
those are
to
one of the things
freezing.
that I'm trying. And another thing I'm trying, Chris.
Wow.
And so, when you harvest aloe leaves, right? Most people, what they do is they put it in the fridge to try to keep them alive longer. And that's
Yeah.
the biggest mistake.
Oh.
If you want to save your aloe leaves for 6 months without it being spoiled, you
Mhm.
cut the leaves and put it outside in the place where it has sunlight.
Yeah.
6 months
So
later,
tell us over.
the leaves
Yeah.
will be the same as the day you cut it. It just
Yeah.
heals up the wound and it will be alive. But if you take it and put it in your fridge, because when you shut the fridge, the light turns off, right?
Mm-hmm.
The leaf will
Oh.
only last for a few weeks and that's it. If you want to save your aloe leaves for 6-7 months, I'm talking about 6-7 months,
Yeah.
and still be able to use it, you leave it outside where it
Yeah.
can get sunlight.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, since
those
we talked about aloe last time, I've got one that's right back here, and it popped out a brand new little pup. Just I don't know, about a month or so ago.
I have so much.
I'm really
aloe,
excited about that. So to see the whole new plant growing and everything. So my question with that then too is that I could just go in there and pull that pup off and have a second plant, right?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can pull that pup off and leave it in your refrigerator. I mean, not refrigerator, your garage for
Yeah.
another 6 months and plant it, and it's still
Yeah, and it'll still be fine. So resilient, so crazy. That's awesome.
I have about 200 little aloe pups right now that I put in the little box. It's in my garage. It's been 1 year. They're still alive.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna plant them. I'm gonna leave them for another year to see what happens.
Yeah. It'd be cool. I need to get some part of like some of the things I want to do around the spaces, and the things we're changing is I want to do and create some like native spaces and stuff, for like native plants, native flowering plants, encourage native bees and other native pollinators. We showed our beekeeping video, and usually as I talk about beekeeping, I also talk about the importance of, beekeeping's fun and great, and I'd love to be able to do it myself, but it's really great to encourage natives and grow native plants in your garden spaces, to encourage those native bees and native pollinators as well too. But yeah, I want to be able to get some of these like some cactuses, maybe some aloes or some things like that could grow out there and be all right. I just don't know if I could really. I know there's some cactuses that do fine in our winters around here and stuff, but I just wonder if maybe I could get an aloe of some sort. I don't know if I could get it to survive out there.
So the aloe will die in the winter time, but
Mhm.
my winter, I don't know if my winter is as hard as yours.
Yeah.
But we had freezes that killed everything from the top. I have aloe that just completely, mushy,
Mm-hmm.
and the root system goes pretty far down.
Yeah.
And I left the plant as as with it become a mush. So I cut the top off, and I thought everything was gone. I dug down into the soil about 2 to 3 feet down there. The root systems are still fresh. The baby is about to pop up. So I didn't know that can happen. That aloe can survive winter.
So it just basically dies back as any other type of, say, a perennial flowering, like spring flower, a tulip, right? It grows, does its thing, dies back, and then can kind of store itself through that cold period, and then try to regrow for the next season, new plants.
Yeah, because
whatever's basically on top is going to die off.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And the roots grows the baby right back. I mean,
wow. We should just give it a try and give it a see. Yes.
First time I experimented with aloe to see if it would overwinter. It did overwinter, and our winter was pretty harsh. It went down to -2 degrees for a few days, and it killed everything from the top. And, the aloe was just mushy, but the root system was fresh, and it started growing little babies. And I have some in my front yard. The baby comes right back up. I guess then you could overwinter aloe outside, no problem.
Yeah, definitely got to try that and get that growing around the garden space for sure. As we're building up new things and doing all of that, but man, I'm telling you, this time has flown right by. I'm telling you, we got a little late start, but still, I'm just like, wait a minute, is it really this time already?
But I'm so sorry, guys. It's almost 10 p.m. and I have a couple of guys here that really needs to go to bed.
Exactly. That's what I'm. Well, I mean, we're right at the end of the time already. That's like I'm saying. I'm looking at the clock, going, "Holy smokes, we've already flown through our discussion time here and everything." But just real quick before we do let you guys go, though, real quick, Christopher, let everybody know about what you got growing on, and again, I suppose we can. Maybe have to wait until after vacation time, but maybe we'll get to seeing you again here real soon as we move towards fall, right?
Yeah, I was going to be rude and say that you need to invite me back on, and Khang also in
it's
when
gonna
it
happen.
comes.
It's gonna happen
in autumn time, and I want to set it up so I can stream from the grow room, and we can just hang out there for a new hour, and we can take a look at a little bit of the hydroponic setup that I'm working on. So that would be really nice if we can plan that. That would be awesome, and we could have like a hydroponic show or something, do something, and by then probably we should force you, Enoch, to start something hydroponic.
I know. I mean, I do have plants that are growing out of containers that are just water. I have plants that grow better in water than they do anything else. My regular house plants, you know what I mean? So I do have some of those. So that's about as close as I've gotten so far. But I do got to get something going. Like get one of those cool little setups, like you've got, a little hydroponic machine or something like that, and get myself growing on something for sure. But I look forward to doing that. I look forward to seeing you in your grow room. And seeing you again too with that big grow room smile on your face. I know we got you down and out because you haven't been doing so much growing lately, but we'll get you right back in there. How about for you, Khang? You got you've shared with us some pretty cool stuff that you've been growing. Anything else you got growing on at the Khang Starr channel and all of that, or anything coming up?
Same as last year, a new cross I'm working on, a bunch of fruit trees. Aloe bears, experiments, and all these other things that I'm doing. Hydroponic experiments that I need to talk to Chris about.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna shoot in. I'm also interested in a project together. We were talking about it in the last stream. We should do something that involves some sort of programming or some sort of making or some sort of idea that we could do together, all three of us. That would be really fun to do in the winter time.
Oh yes, yeah. Let's
So eyes
definitely.
ears open.
Yeah. Let's brainstorm for some ideas of something and think of something between now and then, and maybe we'll kind of come up with something on the next time I get you guys on the show here, and we'll talk about doing something like that, a cool, fun, like video project. And here's something too, is kind of as what we were talking about earlier, is doing something where I could experiment with maybe a little piece of a here, a little piece there, a little piece there, and we kind of pull it all together in the end, kind of thing, right? Like Kang's good at doing. That would be great.
Yeah, we should have a we really should have a grow off. We never got
Some sort of
around to
grow
that,
up.
Kang, and yeah, just for fun, just to see how
Absolutely.
we can do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds like a really great time. And it's always, like I said, always a great time getting to hang out with you guys here and getting to talk with you guys here on our show and all of that too. Again, my original live stream buddies, Khang Starr over at the Khang Starr channel, the Pepper Lovers community, Christopher Brandsdal over at Christopher Brandsdal on YouTube. You guys go and check out these guys' channels down below. I've got links for them. Go over and check out what they've got growing on, or maybe down the road with Christopher, but definitely go and subscribe and check them out. Again, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate having you here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, thanks.
Bye.
Let's Get Growing is sponsored by IV Organic.
Hi, my name is Charles Malky, biologist and plant expert with IV Organics, where we grow cool plants, and author, Saving the World with the Home Garden. IV Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard has 7 natural oils that protect your plants, not just from the summer heat as well as winter cold, but also protects your plants from damaging insects and rodents. The oils in the product include castor, cinnamon, clove, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, and spearmint. These oils are natural insect and rodent repellent oils, which are encapsulated by the base powder, offering your plants months of protection at a time. 1 application per year will suffice for protection against damaging summer sunburn and winter sun scald, but if the target is pests, application as much as 2 to 3 times a year may be necessary.
All right. There we go. Excellent. Another fun conversation with our friends, Christopher Brandsdal and Khang Starr. Really awesome of them to come and hang out with us again. We look forward to seeing them again down the road here on a future episode for sure. As I said, again, my original live streaming buddies, they'll always be around. We'll always find a way to get them here on the show for a fun conversation about all sorts of gardening topics and all of that. Again, thank you all too for jumping in and being a part of the show in the conversation there, especially you, David, bringing some really great questions to the conversation. I really appreciate that. Again, I hope you all really enjoyed the show today. It was really great to have you all here with us. And I'm trying to push some things here. But anyways, before we all head out and everything, I do want to mention that we got some great shows still coming up. We've got more and more of them, as I say here. We're here every Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. British Summer Time, and that's each and every weekend here. We'll be right back on our regular schedule for next weekend too. So we got some great shows coming up. Next weekend, we've got, again, coming back on the show, the very first guest of our show. It's time to catch up with our good friend Wendy Fan from Wendyland. She'll be back next weekend. We'll talk about her more recent trip back to Vietnam and some of the other cool garden projects that she's been onto lately, as well as we'll get to meet the gardening Grant. Will be joining us for our Are You Following Me segment for next Saturday's show. So you'll definitely want to come and join with us next Saturday as well as next Sunday. Oh, I'm looking forward to this because we've already had him on a little while back ago to announce his regular appearance with us on our Sunday edition. I think it's going to work out to like almost every other month. First Sunday of every other month, we'll have join with us Dr. Jeff, Sunday with Dr. Jeff, gardening as medicine. And Dr. Jeff, a real medical doctor, joining with us to talk all about how gardening can be medicine, can be healing, and all the different aspects of how gardening is healing. We'll discuss all of that sort of stuff in all of Jeff's different appearances with us here. So I'm looking forward to him joining with us this next Sunday for the Sunday edition of the show. Again, lots and lots to talk about. As y'all heard with, as I mentioned, last week's Sunday Edition Roundtable, when we talked about horticultural therapy. We talked a lot about all these different aspects about how horticultural therapy is very helpful to lots of different groups of folks out there, but it's also really can be healing, can really be medicine ultimately, not just therapeutic medicine, but can also be real medicine. With Dr. Jeff, when I saw him do his first talk at the Heirloom Exposition, talked about reversing some, certain types of chronic illnesses and all that sort of stuff, and in these sort of things through growing your own food and gardening, and just the activity of gardening and other ways are really healing. So I'm just really looking forward to getting together with Dr. Jeff next Sunday for that I guess we'll call it our first official Dr. Jeff conversation that we'll have here on the Sunday edition. Also, too, again, remember, third Sundays of the month is our monthly gardening book club. And we announced our newest book selection for the July Gardening Book Club. And we are reading this month Cool Season Gardener by Bill Thornes. Cool Season Gardener, extend the harvest, plan ahead, and grow vegetables year-round. Great book, lots and lots of information in this book so far. I've just been really, really enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to, again, the third Sunday of July, which I believe is the 20th. The 20th of July. I've always got to look this up and make sure that I know for sure. But July... the third Sunday of July will be the 20th. Yes. So the 20th, we'll have Bill Thornes on with us to talk with him, and our co-host, Mark Boucher Colbert, Mr. NBC, will be with us as well, too, to talk all about this fantastic book with Bill as well, too. So, yeah, lots and lots growing on as we continue growing along here on the Urban Gardener channel and the Let's Get Growing show. And real quick here, one more look, too, real quick. These couple of little photo of me and my granddaughter from yesterday's birthday party there. And, we just had a really great time. It was really great to hang out with her. And again, too, I'm just looking forward to seeing her really shortly here. As I was mentioning to everybody at the beginning of the show, I got to jump right off the show here today and get to work on getting some of the final touches put together for my little garden party, dinner party tonight for the family, and Layla's birthday as well, too. So we got, so I still got lots to get to myself here, but again, it's been really great hanging out with all of you guys here today. Thank you so much for being here with us today and joining in on the conversation. And great to see so many of you too here as well. Some names I haven't seen for a while, so it's great to see you back here hanging out with us on the show. And before you all head out to again here, if you can, make sure you click that thumbs up, hit the like button there, as well as subscribe. Hit the bell notification for all of our upcoming live streams and videos. Share with all of your friends out there. Let them know about the Let's Get Growing show and all of our great guests that we have here with us every Saturday and Sunday here on the Urban Gardener channel. And definitely follow all the links down below to our guests. Go and check out and subscribe to their channels. Find a local post or video. Go let them know that you saw them here on the Let's Get Growing show. Go check out all of our other links for the Urban Gardener and all of our other social media, and come say hi to us over there as well, too. And again, everybody, just another fun day. I guess we can't really say weekend. We did take yesterday off. Again, everybody, I saw too, I did check in last night as well too, and I saw everybody still loving leaving the chats open for our shows. And I jumped on there and saw everybody did get together and had a really fun conversation yesterday too. That's really awesome. The community that we've built here and how great it is that you guys get together still on days off when we don't have a show, just to say hi and just to talk with each other and to catch up with each other there as well too. So that's really, really awesome, really, really special. And as I mentioned too earlier, we're looking forward to, and I'll look at openings in the upcoming schedule for more of our community shows as well too, so that we can get you all some more opportunities for you all to come on and be the guest of the show. We've been having so much fun with that, and I'll look forward to another opportunity to be able to get you guys back on as well too. And thank you all so much again for hanging out with me here today. And I look forward to seeing you all this next weekend, man. We're going to have another great set of shows for you next Saturday and Sunday. So I'll see all of you guys then.